Welcome back, everyone. I know that you may be wondering, I expect most of you that are here for other reasons. Perhaps trying to improve your skills in Word. You may be wondering why I'm using Office 2003. Well, for me to explain this, I need to give you some history. So, let's begin at Wikipedia. And specifically, let's look at the history of Word. I'm just going to focus on Windows-based Word. We don't have to get back into the DOS years, although I probably should, but I really didn't use Word so much back in those days. I more was a WordPerfect guru. But moving into the 90s, that's when Word began to start getting a hold in corporate America. Corporations actually, probably worldwide, and everyone that had made a painful migration to Windows was now looking for productivity software in Windows, and so there was this mad race. Everyone was trying to produce programs for Windows. It was the future. So, 1989, we see about that time is when the first Word for Windows was released. And I started using Word for Windows 2.0 in the 90s, working through 6, Word for Windows 95, Word 97. So all of these versions were released, and they were all built very similar to each other. They were building upon a known skill set. All those years, all those hours of training and building expertise was all being taken advantage of with every release. So the millions of users were just obviously embedded into the development of the program. And then something horrible happened in 2006. That was when the new version of Office was released. It's the version 2007. And I know I can sit here and give you my impressions of how horrible things went wrong, but let's read a reputable magazine, Redmond Magazine, right there, the home of Microsoft. And let's look at this article that Joanne Cummins produced back in 2007. This is a full 1 year after the release of Office 2007, she says. So far, most users can only come up with 1 or 2 features that they like. For the most part, those features fall short of convincing them to upgrade. The whole new interface, the ribbon interface, power users say it takes too much time and patience to learn it, and with the fact it's new format of the documents, they can't be shared easily with each other. So they're going to wait to upgrade. Now, this is a year after the product was released. Still, they don't want it. It says people will get used to the new interface, but at major efforts and time and training and cost, says Mike McCullough, the director of systems here at this one company. This is in Illinois. Mike was explaining as he was working with his users that the migration from WordPerfect to Word, there were similar interfaces and they were got up to speed quickly. But when it came time to move this user from 2003, Office 2003 to 2007, then there were huge problems. He likens it to saying I might as well hit her over the head with a bat, he says. I could see the anger and frustration. And he thinks he was not alone. Companies are spending money just to buy the new product in the first place, but now you have to pay someone to sit and train people how to use it. And not everyone learns at the same speed. After that, a lot of hand-holding is required to keep people going, to keep them progressing and learning the new things. The new interface just basically takes away from the major selling fact. It's the ease of use. That's why everyone uses Word, as Phil Collins says, because everyone knows exactly where everything is. It was built upon the foundation of usage for years, for 10 years, and now, well, almost 10 years, and now we can see, oh, it's almost 15 years, I guess, yeah, 1990s to 2006, yeah, that's 15 years. But it's like a shock. It's having to learn a whole new program. It's so bad that people are now looking to move to free solutions like StarOffice or OpenOffice. It's no different than learning the new Word. So no doubt Microsoft has lost many, many users because of this. And as McCullough says here, there are 100 million users who understand the old interface, and now they change it? A brand new interface for what, 10 people? It is not worth it. So, what I wanted to try and do is to make you aware of how Microsoft disrespected its users. Millions of users just acted as if they didn't exist. Their opinions mean nothing. To do what? Just to destroy their own business? And yes, they have the right. Any company has the right to destroy its own business, the right to attack its own customers. But sadly, I cannot forgive Microsoft. I cannot forgive them for such a major, major mistake. So I wanted to add another example, get into some of the details of exactly what has changed, what's gone wrong, so horribly wrong. And I think the best overview of this problem was presented by Andrew Cantor from USA Today in his Cyberspeak column. He calls it the New Coke effect. And basically, years ago, Coca-Cola introduced a new flavor of Coke, trying to improve their business, but it was a horrible failure. New Coke failed horribly. So they had to go back to the original Coke in order to correct the problem, to restore it. Well, in many ways, he says here, it's where the company does something different, tries a new trick, attack, breaks with the convention, or does something else to differentiate itself from the pack, hoping something's better. Then, not long after, it takes it back. Maybe it's new management coming in, maybe it's just overwhelming customer feedback. Either way, the experiment's over, whether it's New Coke or the PC Junior. Microsoft is even in the midst of one of those episodes right now, or has simply jumped the shark, at least when it comes to its Office software. Say what you want about the company, but I used to find that new versions of its product were improvements over the old. In some cases it was features, some it was design or ease of use. There was always something to recommend an upgrade. Suddenly that has changed. In the past couple of weeks, I've used both Internet Explorer 7 as well as Office 2007. In both cases, the upgrade didn't take me up. In both cases, Microsoft removed one of the key features of both products without adding anything useful. The key feature was customizability. In an era where so many products from cars to t-shirts to fast food is made to order, Microsoft is taking a huge step back by declaring that it knows what's best for you, and it's wrong. My toolbox. So now he gets into some of the details about his own history of Office and what he's using. He has XP at home and 2003 is at work. In both cases, as soon as they were installed, he spent 5 minutes customizing them to his liking. I removed the toolbar buttons I didn't use, the bold and italic buttons, because he uses keyboard shortcuts. And then he added ones he did use, word count, even got rid of menu items that just cluttered everything up like help for WordPerfect users. Tried to do the same thing with Internet Explorer 6. Because it's still possible. It was a common interface. This is the problem. It propagated into Internet Explorer 7, so that more programs were affected by this so-called wisdom of Microsoft, this new Coke idea. But he says the result was a cleaner, more useful interface, less clutter, more screen space. But now Microsoft has removed that customizability. You can't change IE7's toolbar, you can't rearrange the icons. If you want a search box instead of on the left instead of the right, there's too bad. The folks in Redmond have decided they know best. But Office 2007 is far, far worse. Gone are the traditional toolbars and menus in favor of the ribbon, a wide toolbar-like thing that is chock full of every command you can imagine. The ribbon can either be on or off, period. You cannot decide what it contains. You can't put some buttons on a small personal toolbar. You can, but that's much more limited. Part of Microsoft logic is 99% of users don't customize their toolbars anyway, and those that do make tech support more difficult, thus forcing people to use a single over-cluttered ribbon. What Microsoft is missing is 90-some-odd% of people don't use more than a handful of things. Maybe they like to tweak the fonts or the paragraphs or what have you. They don't need every option under the sun staring them in the face 24/7. The ribbon. But with Word 2007, even if you never use strike-through command in your life, that icon will always be there in the font section. The same for subscript or superscript, highlighting, a host of other things that most users will never touch. Now Andrew mentions Jensen Harris's comment. A justification for the ribbon. One of the concepts behind the ribbon is it is the one and only place to look for functionality in the product. Is that sensible? Let's take a look. So here is Jensen Harris's blog. And he says it, one of the concepts behind the ribbon is it's one and only place to look for functionality in the product. He says if you look through Word 2003 to find an unfamiliar command, you need to look through 3 levels of hierarchical menus, 31 toolbars, and peruse 20 task planes. It's hard to formulate a hunting strategy. Okay. Yes, you can do that. I agree, Jensen. You can do that. You can follow your advice here and just go aimlessly looking. You can hunt and hunt and hunt. Or, imagine this. You use the Office Assistant. Let's see, how do I do subscript? There it is. I have the instructions. I didn't go looking and hunting. What, did you forget you have a help system? Oh, this is a Microsoft person talking like this. Nonsense. What a garbage thing. Are we mongoloids? We don't know what help means? We don't know what a help system does? I can't believe this kind of comment is coming from someone who's employed by the company. This is a cancer inside Microsoft. It's killing it. to see this kind of incompetence. What are they hiring? Toddlers to teach them how to use the programs? It's not like we've never seen a program before. So again, he goes on, Andrew says, in a sense that's logical. Reduce the amount of hunting. On the other hand, its effort to make it easier to find things, Microsoft's answer was to put everything out in the open. Everything out in the open. Imagine if, to make your clothing easier to find, you had everything you might ever wear out and visible. You wouldn't do that. You have drawers and closets that close for a reason. You put little worn things in hard to reach places to make room for the things you use every day. Underwear is somewhere easy to get to, but your tuxedo is probably tucked away somewhere. Unless, of course, you're James Bond. He says, for Microsoft, that tux, the snowshoes, the Halloween costume, everything else is all out there, easy to find. No hunting for that lion tamer's out. So nonsense. Oh. What's worse is even if you want to customize the ribbon, you can't. God forbid that. The one time in 5 years you need to superscript something, you have to click a couple of extra times. So he concludes, for me, it's back to Office XP in 2003. There's no functionality in Word 2007 that I didn't already have, and Microsoft has taken away one of the most important features, the ability to go where I want to go today. Sad but true. And to give you more insight, for example, Paul Theroux says this here, and he was part of the beta program. This is the early days of development with Microsoft. And I want to read you part of his write-up here. Okay? It's hard to understate how traumatic it is to migrate to a new version of an application you're intimately familiar. The trauma is all the more jarring when the application has been as thoroughly overhauled as Word 2007. Gone are the familiar toolbars, my beloved styles and formatting task pane. In their place are useful but oh so unusual ribbons, ribbon groups, galleries, and the mini toolbar. It's an alien landscape, vaguely familiar yet disturbingly different. Now, I know he ends here by saying, and I love it. Oh God, do I love it. But I can assure you, if that were the case, all of this would not exist. And he even repeats the same unhappiness at the end of this article. And I'm linking to all these articles in the data below, so you can see and read the gory details yourself. Even more, there are so many other features that were deleted out of Office for this new 2007 version. And I want you to be aware that there's just this is just an insult to the community that has developed careers based on the product that Microsoft is selling, and the disrespect of that product, disrespect to their customers, it is unforgivable. So today, if I'm going to build a 1,000-page novel, you can believe I will write it in Office 2003. I'm sorry, but that's just the only way. And remember, the beauty of software, it does not die. It is not obsolete. Software lives forever. So there is no real reason, other than to spend a lot of money, for me to make the jump to a newer version. I've written training classes on the new versions. I know what's there. They took away so much power, so much capability, and I can produce a video if you want and show you the differences. So, thank you for listening, for putting up with this rant. And from now on, we'll stay focused on the fun and how to be productive and move forward. But I had to tell you this because I know you're wondering, why are you doing 2003? Because 2003, in my mind and the mind of millions of users, is the very best version of Office that's ever been created.